Every human relationship is a negotiation of trust. Whether we admit it or not, we are all playing a game. We play it when we love someone, waiting to see if they'll love us back. We play it at work, balancing honesty with self-preservation. We play it in politics, in friendship, in silence. A constant exchange between what we give and what we protect. And just like any game, there are strategies, some that build connection and others that destroy it. But the strange truth is this: most of us don't even know we're playing. We assume our choices are moral, emotional, instinctive, when in fact, they follow patterns far older and colder than we realize. Patterns that scientists once reduced to equations, and somewhere inside those equations lies a mirror of the human soul. Imagine this: you move into a small apartment with a roommate. To keep things fair, you make a simple rule. You each do the dishes once a week. You take Sunday, they take Wednesday. At first everything works. You clean on Sunday, they clean on Wednesday. 2 weeks pass. Balance, cooperation. Then one Wednesday, you come home to a pile of unwashed dishes. You tell yourself it's nothing. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they'll do it tomorrow. But Sunday comes, and the dishes are still there. Now there are twice as many. The agreement has been broken. Silently, subtly, but completely. You feel the first spark of resentment. Should you clean again? Should you wait? If you clean, you'll be the fool who does everything. If you don't, you'll live in a growing mess. You're trapped in a cycle of suspicion. And that's when you realize you're no longer sharing an apartment. You're playing a game. This small domestic standoff is a living version of a famous thought experiment, the prisoner's dilemma. Two people, two choices, cooperate or defect. If both cooperate, both benefit. If one defects while the other cooperates, the defector wins more. If both defect, both lose. It's a simple, almost childish scenario, but inside it lies one of the most profound insights ever discovered about human nature. Because the dilemma isn't just about dishes, it's about trust and the fear of being betrayed. It's about the invisible calculations we make in every relationship. How much should I give before I get hurt? When do I forgive? And when do I stop trusting? How do I know they'll play fair when I barely know if I will? Every interaction, every relationship, every society is built on this same fragile equation. We all want harmony, but our fear of loss makes us sabotage it. We seek safety, but in doing so, we often destroy it. In the early 1980s, political scientist Robert Axelrod decided to test which strategy best succeeds in this eternal game of cooperation and betrayal. He invited scientists, mathematicians, and psychologists to submit computer programs that would play thousands of rounds of the prisoner's dilemma against each other. Some strategies were aggressive and complex, trying to manipulate or outsmart others. Some were cautious, some were random, but one, surprisingly simple, outperformed them all. It was called tit for tat. The rules were almost childlike in their simplicity. 1. Always start with cooperation. 2. Mirror the other player's last move. Reward kindness with kindness, betrayal with equal retaliation. 3. Forgive immediately when cooperation returns. No grand calculations, no hidden motives, just fairness, clarity, and reciprocity. When the tournament ended, Axelrod was stunned. The simplest strategy had beaten the most cunning. The kindest had outlasted the most ruthless. And when he ran the tournament again and again, the same strategy kept winning. It didn't win by dominating or deceiving. It won by creating stability, predictability, and trust in a chaotic world. By proving that cooperation, when combined with courage and boundaries, was not weakness, but strength in its purest form. On the surface, this seems like a mathematical curiosity. But beneath the formulas lies something deeply human. Tit for tat succeeds not because it's clever, but because it mirrors the best version of ourselves. It rewards good faith. It enforces justice, and it forgives. But only once fairness is restored. It reflects a truth that both Stoics and Jungians have echoed for centuries, that the only sustainable form of power is mutual respect. That strength without empathy collapses into chaos, and empathy without strength collapses into exploitation. The Stoics might call it virtue in balance, Jung might call it the integration of the shadow, but both point toward the same realization that peace isn't found by avoiding conflict, but by responding to it with clarity, fairness, and courage. And yet, even knowing this, we still betray. We still break our own agreements, hurt the ones we love, and choose short-term victories over long-term harmony. Why? Because cooperation demands vulnerability. It asks us to trust first, without proof that the other will do the same. And for a mind conditioned by fear, that is the hardest move to make. The moment we risk kindness, we expose ourselves to pain, and so we calculate, we hold back, we defect preemptively, believing that betrayal avoided is safety gained. But every time we do, we lose something greater. We lose connection, we lose peace, we lose the possibility of something better than winning, understanding. In a way, game theory doesn't just describe how we act. It describes why our world often feels like it's breaking apart. We are billions of players, each making rational moves that create irrational outcomes, each trying to win a game that can only be won together. But there's a deeper layer still, because the truth is, this game doesn't only play out between people, it also plays out inside us. The same dynamic that destroys trust between two people destroys harmony within one person, between our desires and our discipline, our higher self and our fear, our light and our shadow. In the next part, we'll explore that inner battleground, where the opponent isn't someone else, but the parts of you that can't agree on what's right. And maybe just like in Axelrod's experiment, the winning strategy won't be to dominate or control those parts, but to cooperate with them, because the hidden strategy of life might not be about winning at all. It might be about learning how to play, with fairness, forgiveness, and faith. We like to think betrayal only happens between people, between lovers, friends, business partners. But the truth is, the most painful betrayal is the one that happens within us. It's the moment we promise ourselves we'll change, and don't. It's the quiet voice that says, "I'll start tomorrow," knowing full well that tomorrow never comes. It's not others who break our trust most often, it's us. If life is a game, then the hardest opponent you'll ever face is your own mind. Because whether we notice it or not, every day we play a version of the prisoner's dilemma with ourselves. One part of us wants progress, to grow, to evolve, to break patterns that hold us back. Another part wants safety, to stay small, to remain where pain is predictable, and the rules don't change. Each choice becomes a silent negotiation between these two forces, fear and growth. When fear defects, it whispers, "Don't take the risk. Don't say what you really think. Don't chase that dream. You'll fail anyway." When courage cooperates, it replies, "Do it anyway." And just like in any game, the outcome depends on who moves first, fear or courage. Most days, fear wins, not because it's stronger, but because it's faster. It reacts before we think, before we breathe, before we remember that we've played this game and lost the same way. We call it procrastination, self-sabotage, lack of motivation, but deep down, it's a pattern of defection, a refusal to cooperate with the part of ourselves that wants to grow, and like any repeated betrayal, it leaves scars. When you betray yourself enough times, you begin to lose faith in your own word. You stop believing in your potential. You start negotiating with your limits instead of your dreams. And soon the enemy isn't failure, it's disbelief. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The unconscious isn't evil, it's the part of you that wants to protect you, but protection and stagnation often look the same. The shadow doesn't want you to fail, it just wants you to stay where it knows the rules. But here's the paradox. Growth requires betrayal too. Betrayal of the old self, the one who played it safe, who never spoke up, who accepted less. To evolve, you have to defect from your own past. You have to risk being misunderstood, even by the person you used to be. In the external world, tit for tat was the most successful strategy because it combined strength with fairness. It cooperated first, retaliated if betrayed, and forgave when cooperation returned. Inside us, the same principle applies. If you want to build trust with yourself again, you have to start with cooperation. Start with small promises, keep them, If you say you'll wake up early, do it. If you say you'll stop scrolling, stop. If you say you'll forgive yourself, mean it. Each time you follow through, you repair a piece of that internal contract. Each act of self-discipline is a handshake with your future self. Each act of forgiveness is an act of inner peace. Because discipline without forgiveness becomes cruelty, and forgiveness without discipline becomes chaos. You need both, strength and compassion, in equal measure. The Stoics taught this long before computers and equations. They said you can't control outcomes, only actions. You can't control whether others cooperate with you, but you can control whether you cooperate with yourself. And when you do, you begin to regain power, not the kind that conquers, but the kind that endures. Every time you make a choice, you teach your subconscious what kind of player you are. If you constantly punish yourself for mistakes, the mind learns that trying is dangerous. If you constantly break your word, it learns that your promises mean nothing. But when you show consistency, when you respond to failure with patience and to success with humility, your inner world begins to stabilize. The world outside mirrors that. People who trust themselves are naturally trusted by others. Those who lie to themselves eventually find lies everywhere. And those who learn to forgive themselves learn to forgive the world. Cooperation, at its deepest level, isn't just a social survival strategy, it's a psychological one. To live well, you must learn to cooperate with your own contradictions, your light and your darkness, your ambition and your fear. Jung called this individuation, the process of integrating the opposites within you until you become whole. Because you can't silence your fear, you have to listen to it. You can't erase your shadow, you have to understand it. The goal isn't to destroy the parts of you that resist change, but to guide them toward it. The same way tit for tat didn't annihilate its opponents, but taught them through fairness that cooperation leads to a better outcome. The moment you stop waging war against yourself, you begin to win the only game that matters. But this victory doesn't feel like triumph. It feels like calm, the kind of calm that comes after years of inner conflict. The calm of knowing you no longer have to prove anything to yourself, that every failure, every delay, every mistake was just another round, another chance to choose differently. And yet the game never truly ends. Every day you'll be tempted to defect again, to return to old patterns, to abandon progress, the moment it becomes uncomfortable. The test isn't whether you fall, it's whether you remember how to stand up without punishing yourself for falling. Maybe that's what maturity really is. Not perfection, but consistency. The quiet repetition of cooperation, over and over, until it becomes instinct. Until trust is no longer a negotiation, but a natural state of being. The mathematicians who discovered game theory thought they were studying logic, but what they found was something closer to morality. They uncovered the invisible rules of human nature, rules that govern both nations and hearts, both alliances and identities. To win the outer game, you must understand others. To win the inner one, you must understand yourself. And somewhere between the two, between logic and emotion, between strategy and surrender, lies the hidden strategy of life. One that doesn't promise constant victory, only evolution. One that doesn't demand perfection, only honesty. One that begins, always, with the same simple act, cooperation. Because in the end, it's not the strongest who survive, it's the ones who learn to play with both reason and heart. And as long as you keep playing, fairly and fearlessly, life will keep revealing its deeper rules, round after round, choice after choice, until one day you realize you were never just playing the game, you were becoming it. In this video, we explored how a simple mathematical idea, game theory, reveals the complex nature of human behavior, from the way we build or break trust with others, to the silent conflicts that unfold within ourselves. Every choice becomes a negotiation between fear and cooperation, self-protection and growth. What began as a study of rational decision-making turned into something far deeper, a mirror of human nature. The lesson is simple but timeless. Those who choose fairness over manipulation, forgiveness over resentment, and understanding over dominance are the ones who truly win. not just in theory, but in life itself. If this video made you think differently about the games we all play within our relationships, our choices, and our minds, don't let the reflection end here. Like this video to help it reach others who might need to hear it. Subscribe to Fortis Within for more cinematic explorations of the human mind, from Jung and Nietzsche to Stoicism, psychology, and the quiet philosophy of everyday life. Every week we dive deeper into what it means to think, to feel, and to grow, not through quick advice, but through understanding, because real transformation begins with awareness, and awareness grows through reflection. Tell us in the comments below, what subject would you like us to explore next? Maybe it's something you've been struggling to understand: fear, purpose, ego, or the meaning of love. Whatever it is, share it. Your idea might become the next story we tell, and the next mirror we all look into.